My name is Donald Davis. I'm the head football coach at Mount St. Joe in Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to talk to you today just about what we do in our 4-2-5 with our basic blitz package. Now, we understand football has grown to a level where there's exotic blitzes. Today, we're just going to talk about some of the fundamentals of blitzes, how to teach it, and when to employ those situations in games. Number one thing as a defense you want to be able to do is turn the football over. If you cannot turn the football over, you must find ways to get off the field. Now, being a defense that attacks, you don't want to overextend yourselves to put your defense in peril, but you can't be passive and stand back. So there's going to come times in games where you're going to have to send an extra player that does not start on the front level or the first level. That's where we blitz. I'm going to talk about how to use that thought process in third downs to get off the field. We'll also talk about some first down situations as well. But if we want to get off the field, first, right, we got to win on first down. So we want to force 2nd and 8 or more if we want to get off the field on third down. So forcing 2nd and 8 requires us at times to make splash plays on first down. That's where you can talk about a Mike or a Sam, an inside backer, blitzing. Having a firm understanding of what offenses want to do so that you don't blitz yourself into trouble. Being sure of what their tendencies are and where they want to attack so that you as a defense can attack. Be sure that your matchups are good. If you're in a situation where you have to play man coverage, make sure you have the right coverages and the right players against the proper opponent so that you don't put yourself in a matchup issue. Be mindful of the quarterback's skills, particularly if you're sending a player out of the secondary. Is that quarterback a run threat? If he is able to run, you need to make sure the practice that you have during the course of the week and the way your players form and fit are appropriate to the skills of the quarterback. Understand their protections and the progressions of them, so that you can send the proper players so that they typically understand who is assigned to them as a blitz or in a pass situation, so they know I'm probably going against the guard, I'm probably going against the tackle, I'm probably going against the back in this situation, so that your backers know exactly what moves, what tools to employ as they attempt to blitz. How do teams use their running backs? Are their running backs great blockers? If they are not, there's ways as a defense to isolate a blitzer on a running back and win. Be able to speed up that clock with pressure. One of the things to understand that the blitzer isn't always the player that's going to get there. We'll talk a little bit later about sometimes how the blitzer can create a play for another player. Now, get your best players on the field and to get them in blitzing situations. So if you have a smaller player, maybe it's a defensive end, maybe it's a safety, you can move players around to put them in position to make that play, particularly if you don't have backers that are great in blitzing situations. Use the players that you have to make that effective. And last, make sure those players tackle and everybody else runs to the football. It is possible that a blitzer, because he is coming downhill fast, may be evaded. He may make contact and not ultimately make the tackle because the offense gets a vote too. But if all the rest of your players are still playing in tandem with that player and they're all running to the football, you can be successful. Now, we talked about winning on first down and understanding situational tendencies. Make sure you are self-aware so that your blitzing doesn't put you in trouble as a defense. So if you're blitzing, understand what offenses know about you. If you have tendencies, make sure you don't have self-inflicted wounds. Know when you blitz, self-scout at the end of games so that you know when your next opponent, what they're looking at and what they believe you're likely to do. You may have to do some off-speed pitching from game to game to change and switch your tendencies up just a little bit, particularly in third down situations. Know what they know about you, which means you have to self-scout, You have to minimize matchup issues, understanding who they are, and the play caller has to have a feel. Sometimes blitzing is about your preparation. There's other times during the course of the game that pressure becomes about the feel of your play caller. Now, we talked about third downs. Understanding where do their playmakers line up? Does that require us to call a blitz off because of it? Is that player in the slot? How do we defend players outside? Can we match up one-on-one with their best player? Are they in a wildcat situation, which allows us to be a little more pressure-oriented from the outside where they're less likely to throw the ball? And is there a plan for if there is movement? If they have movement, if they change formations, are we able to make changes on the run? Again, we are attacking the quarterback. We need to understand who his favorite target is because when he is in trouble, that is who he goes to. Does he throw on the run? Like, is he rolling? Does he have a favorite side? Can we force him with pressure away from his favorite side? Is he a statue? Is he a player that we can attack and really force him to throw out of a well in the backfield? What are his tells? Are there things that he does that lets us know what plays they're running where we can make a read pre-snap and send a player even as a late call on the field? Now, how do we break through the wall, particularly when we're in pressure? Is there a weakness in their slide? Are they a big-on-big protection team? Can we create matchups that put us in favorable situations? As we take advantage of the slide techniques or the big-on-big, how do we attack running backs? How do we drill it in practice? How do we make sure that when we get our pass rushers on their pass protectors, particularly if it's a running back, that we can win? Is that running back good in protection? Do they have potential receivers that they can swing the ball or screen the ball out to? Is that player in the backfield? At times, teams can tell if they put a pass catcher in the backfield. We make sure our non-blitzers understand there's a potential pass catcher in the backfield so that if we blitz, that player can leak out, they can run screens. And again, we don't want casual observers on our side. We want to attack casual observers on theirs. If they have running backs who are not involved in pass protection or not good in pass protection, we want to attack them. Pressure bust pipes, right? We want to find out through our film study, how has this quarterback responded to pressure? If he is a quarterback that has lots of mechanisms to respond to pressure, we need to be very careful about when and how we blitz the quarterback. If he is not, we can really attack and be aggressive in those situations. Sometimes we just want to create pressure to obstruct the quarterback's view. So it may come in a situation where the blitzer or the pressure person doesn't get there, but he obstructs the view and forces the quarterback into a bad throw. Again, we talked about getting your best players on the team. Do you have offensive players that you can put on the team? Do you have players that you can put on the edge or the perimeter in third down situations that can make you successful? And last but not least, let's close the deal, right? Our players must understand that if we can create fourth down, we got to win. If we are pressuring, we can't allow big plays because we pressured. Every player still needs to play his role. We need to maintain gap integrity. Players need to still be smart in their blitzing situations so that we can make the tackle and not allow or create a big play through our over-aggression. And that's why we've got to run to the football. If we can get a player blitzed and tackled in the backfield where he doesn't expect it, now let's look to take the football away. In those situations, whether it's a player using the club, whether it's a second player coming in and ripping the football out, we want to be in a situation where we can take the football away from the quarterback.